The following unit and summative assessment piece were created based off of the Physical Education Volume 1.1 General Senior Syllabus for implementation with Year 11 students in 2019. For the purpose of this assessment piece, Unit 3 was selected to act as the foundation to build a summative assessment piece and unit of work upon. Unit 3 has two topics that are required to be covered, but per the requirements of this course, only one needed to be chosen and covered as each topic had its own summative assessment piece and allocated hours. Topic 1 was chosen with its focus being tactical awareness integrated with one selected invasion or net and court physical activity. Touch football was then selected to be the chosen physical activity as it is classified in the physical education syllabus as an invasion game. According to the syllabus, the assessment piece assigned to this unit of work is a project-based folio worth 25% to be presented as a multimodal. This assessment focuses on an inquiry process that requires the application of a range of cognitive and technical processes and skills and theoretical understandings. The specifications of this task are that it is a 9 to 11 minute multimodal presentation with 2 to 3 minutes of supporting evidence. In the folio, students will focus on the specialized movement sequences for one movement strategy to devise a personal tactical strategy to be applied to touch. With these outlines given by the QCAA, some modifications were made to make the assessment more authentic for the students of Koala Park State High School. According to Deakin University, one of the key elements of designing successful assessment pieces is that it is authentic to the students. Therefore, when creating this piece of assessment, the QCAA allowed a choice of the sports to be paired with this unit, and touch football was chosen. As mentioned, Koala Park State High School offers an excellence program for the sport of touch football. Therefore, by getting students to create a multimodal video about tactical awareness in touch to help teach the younger students entering the excellence program makes this assessment authentic. This assessment piece also seamlessly aligns itself with learning throughout the unit. With the changes coming in 2019, all assessment pieces need to be endorsed. This entails the school developing 3 summative assessment pieces with the appropriate modifications to make it relevant to the school's context. Once this has been completed, the assessment goes to the QCAA for endorsement, where a panel of QCAA assessors will determine if it meets the guidelines. Prior to undertaking Unit 3, students have covered the following topics in the formative assessment pieces in Unit 1 and 2. Unit 1 consisted of motor learning, functional autonomy, biomechanics in relation to physical activity, whereas Unit 2 students learned about sports psychology and equity in physical activity. It can also be safely assumed that all students in senior PE have at least a basic understanding of the foundational touch skills. This is due to the fact the school's offering an excellence program for the sport of touch football as mentioned in both Part B and the summative assessment piece. Teaching of Unit 3 will begin in Week 8 of the first term and continue until the final week of Term 2. This is due to the second topic of Unit 3 being taught during Term 1, due to it having less hours allocated towards it. This translates to this unit consisting of 12 weeks of both practical and theoretical lessons for students. Throughout Unit 3, students will participate in learning experiences that incorporate various underpinning factors from the syllabus, including elements of literacy, numeracy, ICT, and 21st century skills. Specific examples of these elements can be found in the unit plan. To teach tactical awareness to students, the revised Bloom's taxonomy was used to align teaching and learning with the inquiry-based summative assessment recommended by the syllabus, as well as the unit and assessment objectives. The first stage of inquiry requires the students to recognize and explain the concepts and principles about dynamic systems of motor learning and tactical awareness in touch. This stage of inquiry links directly to the understanding phase of Bloom's. Following this, students are required to demonstrate the skills learned, which utilizes the remembering phase of Bloom's. These two activities can also be linked to constructing knowledge and the very basics of transforming knowledge through the demonstration of the skill. In the second stage, students are to apply concepts to specialized movement sequences and movement strategies in authentic performance environments to gather data about their personal application of tactical and body and movement concepts. This stage of the learning is the largest, and in the unit, the highest allocation of time relates to this stage. Stated above, students are required to apply concept to specialized. This directly links to the applying phase of Bloom's. The applying phase will be predominantly used in practical lessons as students participate in activities and drills that provide them with the opportunity to apply their skills in both closed and open environments. During the theoretical lessons in the second stage of learning, students begin to learn how to analyze data taken from touch football so they can then apply the skills to their own game footage later in the unit. With analysis being a higher order thinking skill on Bloom's, the importance of students first learning to analyze professional footage before applying the same principles to their own assessment piece cannot be underestimated. Once students have learned the necessary skills of analysis, students must also begin the creating phase of Bloom's in regard to devising their own movement sequence and strategies. The final stage of learning for students encapsulates Bloom's evaluation phase. Students are required to evaluate the effectiveness of the tactical and movement strategies and justify using primary and secondary data. This stage is where students begin compiling the data from the unit and transforming it into their summative assessment piece.